Good afternoon, Miami sports fans. Welcome to Miami Sports Break. David Eversole, joined as always by Jaccare Givens. Before we get going, want to mention one of our great sponsors here at the network, Biscayne Bay Brew, fantastic local brewery here in South Florida. Support all the local sports teams, so make sure you check them out at biscaynebaybrewing.com/beer finder to find them in your area. What's going on, Jock? I know you got some big news you want to talk about today.
Nah, it's just good on this Tuesday. We got a new sponsor, the Gun Show sponsor.
Uh-oh. Look out. We're going to have protein shakes for you guys, so send us some super chats. But
Yeah.
no, we were just talking about before we went on the air. I guess LeBron made another big move in the mogul stratosphere. So tell us a little bit about what's going on with LeBron.
He just became part owner of the Boston Red Sox. The irony in that situation, man, the battles that he had with them in Cleveland and Miami. And for
Right.
him to buy the Red Sox. I mean, become part owner. Him and Mav Carter become part owner of the Boston Red Sox. That's very big. So you just got to give props to him. And as a black man, I know everybody talk about the race card, but as a black man, to see a guy with such strong influence showing you the ropes. Obviously, it was a little bit more set up for him in life, obviously, but the stuff that he knows and he shares with us as a community is great for us, and I love it that we're able to do things with him, and I love that I've been able for the last 20 years to watch him and how he does business. So just big props to LeBron James. I know we always give him credit, but major props to LeBron James.
Yeah, no, that's a really big move. Like to see that, obviously, getting some diversity in the ownership ranks, especially in Major League Baseball. But I know the big topic, obviously, with free agency pretty much getting underway is the Miami Dolphins. The lack of moves or kind of the strategic way that they're approaching things. So to me, it's a little bit refreshing. I kind of like what the Dolphins are doing. And you're seeing a team like New England kind of just throwing money at guys left and right. They picked up Jonnu Smith. They picked up Hunter Henry. So they got the two best tight ends, widely regarded in the free agency class. So I think Miami fans are kind of getting a little anxious because we're so used to seeing them just throw the bag at guys year after year in free agency, but that hasn't worked. So me personally, I kind of like this cautious approach with the Dolphins. So I know we're waiting for that kind of big splash move, whether it's Galladay or somebody else. So what are your thoughts so far, Jock, on how the Miami Dolphins are approaching free agency so far?
Well, for one, they're just standing pat. It looks like Miami is setting up setting up for bigger moves, maybe in the free agent market. I mean, not the free agent, in the trade market, or in the draft where they just seeing what they need to fit and plug in that. Um, Also, free agency is more of a needs based thing. So you use the needs, you get what you need. They've made not the biggest of deals right now, but I think that a big signing is coming at the receiver position. I just think it's more so of Miami getting that guy at the right number. Um, or maybe they just go all in, with the whole, draft and let these guys develop. I'm not
Hmm.
really upset with what Miami's doing. None of those guys that were signed to the New England Patriots were any intriguing guys. The only one
Right.
I think hurt probably was the Carl Lawson deal to the Jets, but that's about it. I didn't see pretty much anything like those teams did that was like, well, they missed out. Uh,
Right.
and there's still a lot of big name free agents out there. You still got Jadavion Clowney, who Miami has loved over the last 2 years.
Hmm.
Maybe they can finally get him in at the number that they want. You still got Galladay out there, Juju Smith-Schuster's out there,
Hmm.
Marvin Jones Jr. is out there. So at the receiver position, so I just think Miami still has their options available. Also, if I was them, I would probably call the Broncos about Philip Lindsay.
Hmm.
They have a low restricted free agent draft pick on him, so why not get a guy? Only thing, he is very injury prone, and I got a lot of flack yesterday. Um, I got a lot of flack yesterday for guys, going at me on Twitter about a fake tweet from my account But if you guys check the receipts, I've been on board of getting Odell Beckham Jr. to
Mm-hmm.
Miami for over 2 years now. That is not something that I just made up yesterday. And Kareem Hunt and him make a lot of sense for
Yes,
Miami. Even though
definitely.
like people was like, oh, it came from a fake account. No, I'm talking about my own receipts. So you can go back on King Jock 24's Twitter and in
Even
the
here,
group.
we've said it a few
Yes,
times here.
even in the group chat. Why not trade for Odell Beckham Jr.?
Yeah.
The guy's explosive, gives you a number one wide receiver, gives you what Miami needs, one. And
Mm-hmm.
then adding Kareem Hunt, a young back who also gives you explosiveness in the run game and the pass game. And I think you can sign him to a relatively cheap deal. So probably a 3-year, uh, $25 million deal type thing, and Odell still has 3 years on his contract. So I just don't see the point of why not making that call. And then at the DN position, you still got Olivia Vernon out there, but I don't think they will sign him just because he's not, in the same fit. I don't think Miami will revisit that.
He's more of he can set the edge obviously pretty good, but I
Oh,
mean, I
he's
think,
the best. He's the best defensive DN in the league.
yeah.
He lacks motor at times.
Yeah,
So
no, I know you were saying that. But yeah, what's up, Robin Hollywood? Appreciate you joining us. And he had a comment here: Pitts and Sewell. That would be a pretty magical draft. I don't think you can get two of those guys. You could definitely get one of them. Pitts is going to be there at 3, obviously. Sewell will probably be there at 3 as well. But to get both of those guys in the draft, I think you'd have to make some moves with some of those second round picks and trade down. But Miami has a lot of leverage, and I think I like the kind of playing the long game a little bit with this free agency and sort of see these other deals now. What was it? Was it Samuel and Juju have the same agent?
yeah, Curtis Samuel's another guy that's out there that Miami actually they love him too.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't like, to me, if you can get this guy in the draft, the guy with similar skill set,
Right.
you take him in the draft because you have him on a controllable deal. So I'm more of that. And also Miami has made some nice additions. Let's talk about what they have done. McKinney
Yeah,
is
I like
such a
Bernard
great
McKinney a lot.
he's
Yeah,
a
that's a
he's a
big upgrade right there.
is a major upgrade. The
That's
Houston
a Pro Bowl
defense,
linebacker right there.
yeah, the Houston defense did him no favors last season.
Mm-hmm.
That was a terrible defense, and he didn't flash as much as he was when they were a winning team. But that was a great upgrade for Miami. Him and Jerome
Mm-hmm.
Baker would be able to man the middle a lot more. So that was a great deal, and I think Miami's good. They brought back Beagle. People were surprised about that, but he did have some moments.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Miami's fine.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think Juju is probably the one I would like to see them get if the deal works, because then you got so many ways you can go in the draft. You could take a Penny Sewell with the number 3, and then maybe move up from that number 18 spot to grab a Waddle or somebody else like that. Because I mean, Miami's right now, I think, sort of seeing what other teams do, like New England, like the Jets, everybody in their division, and they're being patient, which is obviously the opposite philosophy of what they've taken in the past. And I know we mentioned on the Twitter feed and stuff like that, like the '95 Dolphins went all in on free agency, and this sort of was a recipe
So
for disaster. So
I'm gonna reference a point that many may not have brought up, and it just came to me just now. Last year, Miami's biggest needs was on the defensive side of the ball, right? They went all in on the defense. It worked. But if Tua's gonna be your guy going forward, like they're predicting and like we're planning, why not draft guys who are gonna grow with him for the next 4 to 5 years and beyond, instead of getting a free agent guy who we may sign to a 3 or 4 year deal. If he doesn't play up to his potential or play up to the deal, you're gonna release him anyway. So just
mhm.
draft guys on the offensive side of the ball. It makes more sense, and uh, that's what Kansas City did with Patrick Mahomes. Even though they drafted all their weapons beforehand, but look what they've
Mhm.
done after that. Look what they've done after him. They drafted a running back in the first round and Clyde Edwards-Helaire. They got McCall Hartman to go with Tyreek Hill. They're just getting guys that's developing with him.
Right, and like we talked about, they kind of stack speed there in Kansas City. They got more than one guy who can take the top off of defense. You got the Tyreek Hill, who works a short intermediary in space, and then I know they let Watkins go, I believe. So they'll probably find another guy to plug into that, 9 route type of receiver. But thoughts on X Howard wanting to go to Denver? I haven't really heard a lot about that, but I mean, I see no reason why he wouldn't want to just stand pat here. He's got his partner Byron Jones, and I think this defense is going to be really, if they get a good pass rusher one-on-one, it's going to be really good.
I haven't heard nothing about him going to Denver, but if he does go to Denver, hypothetically speaking, you would swap him for Cortland Sutton or one of those young receivers or something like that. The Dolphins should absolutely go all in on Rodney Hudson, though.
Yes.
All in. They missed out on Lindsley.
Right, the best center, a lot of people think.
But Hudson was has been the Raiders' best offensive lineman for the last forever since he's been there. You go all in on that guy. He can be a staple. You have a lot of young guys surrounding him who still need to learn the game, and nothing helps a good offensive line like a great center. If you look at the time when Miami did have a good offensive line, they had a great center, Mike Pouncey. You look at the Steelers, who's had a great offensive line for years. They had Maurice Pouncey. You look at the Packers, who's had a great offensive line. They had Corey Linsley. You look at the Cowboys, who had at one time had the best offensive line in football. They had Travis Frederick, and then you see when Frederick left, how everything went down for them.
Right. And, I know they've been looking at Andrews as well from New England. How ironic would that be if we swap centers with New England? They end up with Karras and we get Andrews, which is a lateral move. I think Andrews is a little bit better overall, maybe a little bit more sound, but I really think that's kind of a wash. And that's another position they could approach in the draft as well. I know there's some good options there.
Creed Humphrey
at that 38 pick, I think, for the Dolphins is definitely somebody a lot of people would want to see. But there's options in the third round as well. But offensive line for the Dolphins, I think I like the depth, but I really want to see just one more piece in the middle. What are your thoughts on the offensive line as it stands now? If we pick up Andrews and just kind of stand pat after that.
Well, Isaiah Wilson is going to be a guard long term. Just looking at his footwork and looking at his game, he's a guard. He's not a right tackle at all. He's going to shift inside. So you'll be able to go with him and Kinley at left and right guard in the future. Jackson at left tackle. If you draft Sewell, then you'll be Jackson at whatever, and you'll have Hunt at right tackle. You have a lot of options, but it's either gonna be Sewell or a free agent. The center position has to be addressed, so I think that's the number one thing they should go after right now. And then you can still draft Creed Humphrey as a developmental guy if you don't feel like he's ready right away, and you just build off that.
Yeah, no, exactly. I like the flexibility on the offensive line too. They got guys.
The Dolphins have back inside. They have flexibility all across the roster, which people don't understand. So I think that's why the patience in free agency is very high, because defensively, you got better just now when you made that trade, right?
Right.
You have a good secondary. You still have guys on flexible contracts that you can still maximize their ability in the contract with them. So
right.
That's why I think the patience has been displayed. Offensively, I just think they want guys to build around Tua, because you have to look at what they drafted last year. They drafted offensive linemen, guys who are going to grow with Tua. So that's my opinion. I think that's the route they're going to go. That's what it's looking like. But I do think they're going to sign a receiver. The Galladay and Juju Smith-Schuster argument is invalid. I don't like Juju Smith-Schuster. I don't think he's that great of a receiver. I've been on record. He has been not great since Antonio Brown left the Steelers. I think Deontay Johnson was better than him. I think Claypool was better than him. Now, in terms of fit, probably would he fit better with Tua? Sure, because him and Tua have a bond already, and you never can over Trump chemistry. But as far as signing, I think Galladay is probably the better player, but he kind of is redundant as well, because he's just better. He's just a better version of Devontae Parker. Juju Smith-Schuster makes the most sense, like I said, because you can play him in the slot whatever. But he's just a bona fide tight end. He's slow. He has no routes. He's a bona fide tight end, and if that's what you want to match him up with and use him as, correct. You have the right guy.
Yeah, and I think that if people mention a lot of scheme fit on defense, but I think scheme fit is even maybe more important on offense with Tua with the RPO game and things like that.
And he
You need to
needs
have
guys who
receivers that can come back to the ball and get
come back.
open.
No. You have to have receivers that can, be tough across the middle.
Hmm.
I like Anthony Miller out of Memphis. He's a very great player. I think he just got a short end stick because he was with Trubisky, who sucks. He's
Yeah.
Bo Rooker. He's not a good quarterback at all. And so you just have to move forward. I think Miami's doing fine. I think we just have to be patient to see what happened because this is just the first wave. You have the second wave, then you have the
Hmm.
third wave.
Yeah, exactly. And I think tomorrow there might be some news to sort of give Dolphins fans a little bit of what they want as far as a name. But right now, I think they're just filling needs, and then they're going to
Yeah.
see who's left and
Bears
what the pricing are with other guys getting signed to other deals
mentioning
before they make a move.
mentioning Anthony Miller, the Bears are having trade discussions with other teams regarding him. He is in the final year of his deal. So that's news for you.
Yeah, I mean, I give up like a third or fourth
Mm,
for Anthony Miller. I mean, mid-round pick, fourth or fifth. I mean, I wouldn't go too crazy. I mean, obviously, if they're sellers, the Bears, you got to take advantage of a team situation. And a lot of that, I think Miami's just waiting. Other teams might start to panic and maybe act irrationally. And Miami's sort of flipping the script of not being the off-season champions and then finishing 6-10. So let's embrace a different philosophy from the Dolphins for once. And they have direction. They have leverage. They're still within cap range to sign one guy, maybe even two guys if they can make the numbers work. So you got to trust the process, and the draft is really, I think, where Miami's going to make big moves, whether it's trading up, trading down.
trading
They're
for a
good.
player.
Yeah, exactly. I think the draft is where Miami might be really more active, and they're just kind of plugging in a few guys here, so they don't have to reach so much in the draft, and they can go towards best player available or make a splash in the trade and maybe doubling down. And like Rob said earlier, maybe getting that Sewell Pitts combo if they trade up and sell a couple of those draft picks in the future as well. But want to switch to the Miami Heat, obviously,
No,
since
no, no. We're
no,
not going to the Heat.
no,
We're
what
going to
what
the
what do you got?
hottest team in Florida,
Not the
which is the
Panthers.
Panthers.
The
The
Panthers.
Panthers. We're going to the Panthers. What an unbelievable game yesterday. 3-3 in the third,
Preach.
and then 5 minutes later it's 6-3 after an incredible 3-0 run. I'm not really the biggest hockey guy, but I was tuned in for that. I watched the last third. I'm kind of getting in the tune of it, but it was a really, really exciting game to see those guys battle back. In a
Panthers are
tie,
exciting, man.
in a
The,
tough game, and then it's just like it was like equivalent to how the Warriors were when they were going on them crazy runs, where it just was
mhm.
like, damn, they flustered them like that 3-0 that quick.
Yeah, no, the thing about the Panthers is like they're just an exciting team that doesn't quit. And in the third period, Joel Quinville's kind of pushing the right buttons there and getting the right guys on the ice. But I think that the Panthers are going to surprise a lot of people, and I agree with Zachary. They're one of the best teams in Florida right now. They beat the Lightning. They're poised. I think they lead the NHL in points. So get into hockey, people. I know the Heat are obviously the talk of the town as well now that Jimmy Butler's back, but the Panthers definitely deserve a lot of love. And Alexander Barkov, I've been on record of this. You could check the receipts. Barkov, to me, is the most highly skilled individual athlete that we have in our market. He's a top five talent in the NFL. I don't think, or in the NHL, excuse me. I don't think we have a top five talent in the NBA, and we don't have a top five talent in the NFL. So he's a guy, and he's the kind of guy that can really take over a team. And with Bobrovsky's play in net, he's kind of quieted the conversation about him and Drieger in net. Bobrovsky's your guy. You paid him a big deal. He's a two-time Vezina Trophy winner, and I think Bobrovsky is the straw that stirs this drink. And the Panthers will go as far as he goes, but I know a lot of people on here with the comments want us to talk about the Heat. So, what do you think so far? Obviously, with the return of Jimmy Butler and maybe Bam coming back tonight, it looks like. So, got another big game for the Heat against Cleveland tonight, which is one that they really should win walking away, I would think. But what are your thoughts on
I
this
don't.
resurgence of the Heat so far?
They just got back to their identity.
The defense.
Let's just call it what it is. They got back to their identity. They're healthy. For the first time, you still ain't got Avery Bradley back, who's in trade
Mm-hmm.
talk rumors. They just got healthy and they got back to their identity. They've been gritty on defense. They've been helped with a schedule that's favorable for them as well.
Mm-hmm.
What when you're a good team, you have to win these games. It is what it is. You can't be upset about that. Jimmy Butler is having an MVP stretch right now. I want to
Mm-hmm.
see if he can keep it up with the triple doubles. He's the bona fide point guard, and he's just doing he's doing all the right things. And I think Spo's find that punch that they were missing.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah, the
so
second unit hasn't really fallen off a cliff as much. They're not cratering in the third quarter. I know the second quarter was bad the other night, but I think they're a lot more consistent on the defensive end, which is settling them on offense. And Kelly Olynyk, man, and both
so
the KOs really,
this
Akpala and KO, man, we got double KO.
see this team like the difference with last year is that Miami was explosive offensively in the bubble, right?
Mm-hmm.
This year, Miami has to defend to win. So they
Yeah.
have to defend at a high level because their offense at times can fall off a cliff where it's just like,
Yeah, well,
Jesus
it's a roller
Christ.
coaster of Duncan Robinson. Really, I think his performances are kind of uneven, and teams are really adapting. Obviously, we talked about the dribble handoff and other ways to get him the ball. So I think Miami's going to be fine, especially if Bam can get healthy and get confident and aggressive again, like we've seen those flashes. And the upside for Miami is really going to be determined by how well the defense plays. I agree with you because the Miami Heat, we know that franchise identity. It's a tough team. It's in the mold of Pat Riley. They're going to be physical. They're going to be the best conditioned team, the hardest working team. And I think they need to get back to that identity. And yeah, the Zach LaVine, it's that Jimmy Butler effect. It's the Bam effect. People want to go to
I
that
don't.
culture because it's going to bring out the best in them.
Well,
Zach LaVine would be a freak in the Heat, man. I tell you that.
well, yeah, I would love to see Levine. Highly unlikely though, because you're talking about a
Yeah,
guy who still has
that's
two
a
years
max
left.
guy.
He still has 2 years left on his deal. But maybe you never know if they would see like if Miami, if the Bulls be like, you know what, I don't see us winning with him. So maybe they can trade him, get to
Yeah, they don't have
maximize the
enough
most of.
around him to win now. They don't
Right.
have enough pieces around him right now. He can't. He's not enough to carry the team by himself. But I want to ask you, what do you think the Heat should give up for LaMarcus Aldridge?
Avery Batley, Myers Leonard, a pick, a Chua,
So you would give up
and
Precious? You would.
yeah, I mean they're gonna want something young in that deal. So either a
Mm-hmm.
Chua or Duncan Robinson. To be honest, like if you can just put Robinson, Kendrick Nunn will probably be another name that would be thrown in there. Even though I don't think the Spurs need guards, they need forwards. So I
Mm-hmm.
think Duncan Robinson, Achua, Bradley, Leonard to match money in a pick.
Yeah, I think our Greg Sylvander reported on the network that it was maybe the Heat were offering what Bradley, Harkless, and Myers, and they're
Yeah,
kind of standing pat on that package. And I don't think they need to rush. I think Miami has the leverage right now, and
I
he doesn't
think
want to be there.
Lamarcus.
He's giving them no value right now, so
I
just
think
wait.
Lamarcus is gonna ultimately get brought out because it makes the most sense.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I don't like the gold jerseys at all.
The eyes,
It's two Indiana Pacers for me, man. But I get the idea, but I'm just not. I mean, and I didn't really like the vice versa jerseys either. So I mean,
the
I just want to go back to the red and black, man. The white and
yeah.
red, just the regular schemes. Throw out the vice every now and then. It was a good run with the vice, but yeah, no, the gold jerseys were a little bit of a stretch for me. What do you think, Josh?
No, I'm not a fan of it. This was like Nike does such a poor job like producing jerseys. It's a shame. Like they don't give effort into it. Like it's bad. Like think about it. Like oh we had the Vice jerseys. Okay, we had white. Oh, I'm just gonna make it blue. Then we go to pink. Then we
Mm.
go to vice versa. Like, no, man, you could have did something more exciting. I just think Miami they get lazy with their
Yeah, they
jersey.
got worse over time, which
Yes,
you don't want to see. I mean, the Vice jerseys, that color scheme just pops with the black, the blue, the purple, and everything. Like that's just a nice scheme.
that's
It,
Miami. Like we in
it's in
Miami.
Miami, yeah, exactly. But I think when you go too heavy into the pinks and the wash, and then now just totally 180 with the gold, I just want to see Miami get back to the standard.
And
Honestly, I
I
mean,
like
call me old school, a little bit conservative, but throw in the Vice Knights, the regular Vice every now and then, and just call it a day.
correct.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that, but no, I just want to see the Heat just keep the defensive intensity in the second half. Like you said, the schedule's pretty favorable for them. If guys are getting healthy, if Bam can come back and
Like
get a couple
Cleveland,
of games.
like tonight, Cleveland's gonna probably play Miami tough tonight. Like Miami's due for that game. They may lose, but they should win, but
Mhm.
they lose. So I think Cleveland may get them a run. Um,
They're a
I do,
bad team, though. Cleveland's a
yeah,
real bad team.
but
Colin Sexton's been playing really good. He's been good for me. Shout out to Prize Picks, by the way.
yeah.
Been
Hey,
loving those
Jimmy
overs
Butler,
on him.
Jimmy Butler with the under tonight.
I think with the under, because if it's a blowout, and I took Bam with the under as well on Prize Pick. I think his fantasy points were like 40. So I don't see him getting over that mark. But it could be a game where Jimmy gets a rest in the second half. So I might be looking at some of those second half picks on Prize Picks. But no, we're gonna have a good show on Friday. Obviously, got a big guest from the network. Going to talk a lot of the Dolphins moves and free agency. We'll drop that name later in the week. But we're gonna wrap things up here in a couple minutes. Uh, one more question. No,
Hell
honestly,
no.
I mean,
That's that
Miami just
award
gets
is that
disrespected.
no that award is Joel Embiid's to lose though,
Yeah, even with the injury
even with the
and
injury.
then missing time. Yeah, and Philly's playing well without him actually, which was kind of a surprise to me. I think losing him in the middle, I thought that would be a lot more of an impact on the Sixers. But the East is hot. I was looking at the standings before last night's games finished. The top 10 teams in the East had all won their last games or were all in a winning streak. So the East from 1 through 10 is very competitive. And I just think there's too many guys that are on the national radar. And that's more of like a celebrity award. I don't think it's really based on your value to the team. I just think it's a popularity contest, and I don't take that too seriously. I think the All Star thing obviously kind of set the tone on how Miami is looked at. But to me, Jimmy Butler is an MVP candidate, and I think
Yeah,
he's a top 10 player in the NBA.
over the last 10 games, 28 points, 9 assists, 6 rebounds, 3 steals, 55% field goal position percentage for Jimmy.
Yeah, and if he can start hitting those outside shots, man, and getting to the line, I think that's the two keys for Jimmy. Just knock down some mid range to keep the defense honest and get to the free throw line. If he's shooting 10 plus free throws a game, that's a real good recipe for Miami. But we're going to wrap things up here at the Miami Sports Break. So before we go, Jock, tell everybody where they can find you on social
King Jock 24.
until further notice. And you can find me pretty simple at David W. Eversole. And also check us out on Instagram at MIA Sports Break. And we're going to be back on Friday with a special guest for the Dolphins. So we'll see you guys